Hey, everyone, and welcome to this very special episode of the Ring Generals. It's an interview episode, and we're really excited to welcome this person to the show. Let's introduce ourselves first. I am the Outlaw John Rocha, writer, producer, and host here on the Ring Generals, joined as always by these two wonderful gentlemen. Aaron Turner, how you feeling there in Orlando?
I'm doing good. Can I get like a good intro, like a graphic designer extraordinaire, like good looking guy, great hair, like
The man who
maybe next time.
The man who builds our rundowns, the man who builds our graphics, the man who brings it all and keeps us tied to the ground floor of professional wrestling, Aaron Turner.
That's very good.
There you go. And the man who produces the Before the Bell podcast, the man who knows so many wrestlers inside and outside the ring, produces comedy shows, finds the diamonds in the rough amongst the great wrestlers with his comedy chops, and that is the great Chris Burns. How are you, Chris?
See, it's always best when you don't have to ask for it. You know what I mean? When it just comes naturally, it feels great. It feels absolutely great. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. But listen, nothing, but all of us pale in comparison to the guest we have coming on in just a few seconds here. She is the former host and ring announcer for WWE's Raw, SmackDown, NXT 205 Live. She has seen more pay-per-views up close and personal than any of us have combined. She was the host on The Bump, Talking Smack, which became SmackDown Lowdown, had a memorable run with Paul Heyman during Roman Reigns' ascendancy, which we might be entering into a second golden age of Roman Reigns, but who left the company recently, the WWE, to pursue other interests and has already wrapped her first movie starring Ron Perlman, Justin Long, and Ashley Benson. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Kayla Braxton, now Kayla Becker. Hello, Kayla. How are you?
You know, I was really excited, but you had to mention Paul Heyman's name in my introduction. Like, I've been trying to escape from that man. If he sees this, he's going to be so happy that he was in the introduction. But you know what? It's fine. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, we thank you. And of course, I mean, the Paul has tentacles all over the place. So
he does. We love Paul.
Absolutely. But we love you more, Kayla. Thanks for taking the time to hang out with us. Look, you look so happy and vibrant and fresh. How is LA treating you? How many years now are you in? Are you just past a year, or how long have you been in LA now?
It'll be 2 years in December. So like a little over a year and a half. I will say I'm enjoying it much more now that I'm home full time. I can actually enjoy a Friday night out and a weekend in LA. Yeah, I love it. It's always sunshine. I moved here from Florida, and I know, Aaron, you're dealing with some weather in Florida, but it's not raining here, so not to rub it in. It's great.
Well, how are you finding this life now? You've recently walked away from WWE. I mean, I don't know many announcers who got the kind of send off you got, and I've been watching WWE for decades. I mean, these wrestlers spoke from their heart about you and their feelings working with you. You know, people know this. As a wrestler, the backstage interviewers, they are so essential in getting you over as much as the frontline interviews like Michael Cole and the announcers there. And so it seems like a lot of these wrestlers really appreciated working with you over the years, and it came through in that tribute package they did for you.
Yeah, you know, I think it's something I really had to, I don't know if the word is fight for, but I think I put a lot of interest and effort into getting to know all of the superstars. The ones that you're seeing on TV now, we all came up together in NXT. So we know each other inside and out, and develop these great relationships. And so for the first few years, you know, working for WWE, the backstage interviewers were under the strict Vince McMahon rule. You are just a mic stand. Don't smile. Don't raise an eyebrow. Don't have a personality. That's how it was for many years, you know, minus like, you know, the jeans and Renee Young really, Paquette now really paved the path for backstage interviewers. And then when I did get WWE's The Bump, and they're like, oh, she has a personality. I think that's when it really started coming out on SmackDown. And when Paul Heyman and I did Talking Smack, all of that combined is what, you know, those superstars started to really trust me and bring me in. Yeah. And with Cody Rhodes doing a send off for me at Madison Square Garden, like I don't think there could have been a better way for me to say goodbye to my, you know, last decade with WWE.
Yeah, at the mecca of professional wrestling.
I mean, seriously, like come on. I've never taken a bump before. Like what?
What do you got, Chris?
I'm just like, I've gotten to become friends with Kayla over the last year or so, right?
One of my first friends in LA. Yes.
Oh, stop
Wow.
it. Just stop it. No, keep going. And what always like got me about you is more like the duality of your personality, right? It's like you're one of the sweetest, nicest people that I know, but then the bloodlust of horror movies, the most, messed up forms of entertainment that I could imagine ever watching myself because, I'm a scaredy cat. And then also, again, so demure and professional, but then you've gone on the stand-up comedy stage and, certain things have come out of your mouth that I would have never expected to see on
I had a little bit of a potty mouth.
I guess I've never really asked you what gave you the bug to want to like do more live stuff and like get on stage and like work out some of those muscles?
I think I've just always kind of been like a natural performer. And I think, but like my first job out of college was working in Orlando, Florida at West 2 News. I was an entertainment reporter. I've always really just worked in front of a camera in a studio setting. I'm very open about the fact that when I was a ring announcer, I didn't like it because it was so hard. Like ring announcing is very difficult, and people don't realize that because we have the most phenomenal ring announcers on the planet, and they make it look easy. But I think I did get this thirst for performing in front of an audience when I was ring announcing because there's no feeling like it, commanding tens of thousands of people, getting them hyped for something, and then feeling like you're the reason for the way that they're feeling. And so I think even when I did stand up, that was a disaster. But I do appreciate you putting me in front and putting me on that stage because even though I walked away like I forgot every single joke that I wrote and I read off my phone, nothing was hitting. But even just the laughs I did get, I don't know. It's like this. I think people do say it's like this drug. It's like it just feels really good, and I think just boosts your self-confidence. So yeah, I don't know. I think I'm just so egotistical. I just need people's attention. Kidding.
Yeah, you got a leg up on Jay Washington. He can't even get on stage with a show that Chris produces. So I mean, you already got a leg up there. Aaron, what do you got?
Oh, Jay.
I did like that it was fitting that the same time you got the send off at MSG, Paul Heyman like left in a stretcher. So that's like symmetry, right? like it's like, yeah, finally. No, but
it was perfect timing.
I want to go back to the horror stuff because obviously I got the alien shirt. Yes. I got the things behind me. I got the alien Romulus cup. Like I'm ready to rock
already.
So, wow. Man, you got to know people. But what is it that draws you to horror? Because for myself, horror is a group of folks. Like whenever someone gets together and you talk about like I don't know anything like Halloween, like there's somebody that's like, oh my god, I love it. Let's talk about it. And I've found that going to like cons and different things over Halloween Horror Nights over the past like decade or so, horror is such a community that it doesn't matter who you are, what you like. And they say like, oh, this is for everyone. Horror is for everyone. So I kind of wanted to know like your experience with that. What's your horror fascination origin story?
When I was very young, like I think honestly, some of the first movies I ever watched that I shouldn't have been watching was horror. My mom was a massive horror fan. My older sister, who's like 15 years older than me, massive horror fan. And we would just sit in the dark in the living room. I mean, I was 6 or 7. Like honestly, this should not have been loud. But like we were just watching like horror movies. And I don't know, like I think I found comfort in them. And this sounds really maybe kind of like a little weird, but I think I found comfort in them because it brought me so close to my family. And so then as I've gotten older, I feel like I always try to find people who connect and relate over horror because of that. And I think, like you said, it is such like it's like a tight knit like cult following where people just understand it and love it. So when people are like Chris down here, who's a scaredy cat, I find it's like my personal mission to like pull them over to the dark side. But I don't know. Horror just makes. I typically watch a horror movie in a day. I've been trying to stop that a little bit because I'm realizing that might be messing me up. I was watching because I have Shudder, so I try to like go through and watch a different horror movie daily.
A day? Wow.
But I wake like my entire bedroom. The whole wall is just like classic horror movie posters, and I have like all the horror Funko Pops. So I realized I was kind of like I have this. Hold on, it's kind of cool.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
But like my friend, so I was like a Pennywise character of Halloween, but she
Oh.
made my own movie poster. That's me from like, can you can kind of
Oh
see it.
wow! No, that
But
rules.
stuff like
That rules.
That is awesome.
But yeah, I don't know. It just makes me really happy. Makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside.
Well, I saw you on the Nikki and Bree show. Is your boyfriend still alive? I thought there was a concern of theirs with that situation.
Well, I don't see him in here. Do you?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You cleaned up very nicely, if that's the case.
That's the case.
Okay, I have a follow-up question.
Yes,
So, first of all, the reports of me being a scaredy cat are overblown. Okay, I'm just adding color to the situation here.
Last horror movie you saw?
So you started very young as well. My parents notorious for inappropriate viewings for my age coming up. What did you have strategies to keep from being scared? Because I remember I would rationalize like my way out of horror movies, like Jason's at Crystal Lake. I'm totally good there. Freddy Krueger,
you can't get here.
If I just stay awake, everything's fine. It's just the different strategies like that. Michael Myers was very problematic because he just killed everyone, it seemed.
Yeah.
Did you have anything like that as a kid that was like, this is going to keep me good and not afraid?
Oh no, I was convinced I was going to get murdered at any point.
Okay.
Like I refused to have dolls in my house. Like people were like, there was this doll back like in 2000 that came out, and her name was Allie. And her mouth was one of those first dolls whose faces moved. Just, hi, my name is Allie. Let's be friends. And I literally threw her in the trash can. I was like, nope. Like I know how this goes. I've seen Chucky. I was really terrified of clowns for a long time. Although now, like Pennywise is one of my all-time, in Art the Clown now, like favorite like horror movie characters. But no, I was just like, this is if I'm going to go down by getting murdered by an iconic horror movie character, so be it.
Yeah, I gotta say, doing research on your life and doing research on where you came from and the stuff you've overcome and the stuff you've dealt with. I mean, it's not a stretch to see you find a little bit of comfort in horror films because they do escape, they do win, they do survive, they do overcome. And your attitude, you're like a ray of sunlight, and it's incredible from the stuff that I've read about you. And of course, the stuff that happened at WWE and some of the social media stuff. It's incredible that you keep this really strong, positive attitude. Is that something that's naturally been a part of you since you were a child and overcoming stuff? Or is this something you kind of developed over the years?
I mean, I definitely have plenty of dark days, as we all do. But I do know like from I was actually, so my biological mother was put into prison when I was 9, but she was kind of in and out of prison all before that. So I never really saw baby pictures of myself. She always said they were like they were destroyed and ruined and burned, whatever. But then years after she got out of prison, she brought me this box, and it was all these photos of me from when I was a kid, but they're all torn up. So I sat there and was gluing. I glued, taped, and then went to like a CVS and scanned them because I wanted to have an actual photo. And like in every photo, like I could see, like I had dark circles under my eyes. I like clearly but I was smiling in every single photo.
Wow.
So I feel like it's just something that like, I don't know, that was just, I don't know. I think I was just born like a happy kid. Yeah. Even through foster care, that's something my foster parents always said, that I was just like a peacemaker, just wanted to make sure everyone else was happy no matter what was going on. And it gets harder the older you get because you have like real adult problems. But yeah, I mean, I think it's, there's people out there who have it so much worse. And I feel like I'm extremely fortunate. And I think if it weren't for those things I went through, I wouldn't be where I am. And now I have so much life experience to be able to use and to share and to maybe help other people. So like, what do I have to be? I mean, again, I have my down days, but like, I feel like being positive is just the best way to keep moving forward. And then it helps other people too.
It's going to help you in LA. That's for sure. LA, it's a tough town, tough town. Yeah. Aaron, what do you got?
When I read the news that you were departing your most recent company, I was really surprised, I think. And I think a lot of people were surprised because like, man, she does such a good job. Like, it just seems like this is a good fit. And then of course you start thinking about it more and you're like, okay, well, she wanted more opportunity. She felt like she had hit the ceiling. I totally get that.
Yeah, because they offered her a new contract. They'd offered you a new contract, according to reports. So yeah, go ahead, Aaron. Sorry.
No, so those reports were incorrect.
Oh, they were.
They misunderstood me. I said I was not under a contract, but they're saying announcer, we're not under contracts like that. We're just like we're employees.
Right.
Right.
So yeah. So anyway, you can
Gotcha.
go ahead.
There you
Yeah,
go.
I was gonna correct that online. I'm like,
Oh, no,
I was
you're
not
good.
under a contract.
I'm glad we did it here.
I think a lot of the discourse after that was like, well, if she's not going to be in this company, she's going to this other company.
Yeah.
It's like, guys, like, believe it or not, people can leave the wrestling business and not go back to wrestling, and they can do other things. Like that is a possible thing. I just think it's really interesting. And as a person that is, I'm approaching 40. I'm not there yet. I got a few years, but I'm close. So I always worry about that, like, midlife crisis. Like, am I doing the right thing at work? Do I need to go somewhere else? Like, what's happening? I just kind of want to get in your head a little bit and see, like, what was the thing that was like, you know what? I'm going to take my shot. I'm going to shoot my shot. I'm going elsewhere.
It wasn't an easy decision, but it's also something I've been thinking about for a long time. You know, it's no secret that I didn't come from the wrestling world. I was introduced to it, and I'm so glad I was, and I learned to love it. And it will be one of the best parts of my entire life. But I think I just didn't have that same connection as others who maybe dreamt of being here their entire lives. I recognize that I have done everything. I didn't want to be on commentary. They asked me a few times if I wanted to be commentary, and I said, hell no. I don't know how they do that. But I was like, what else could I do here? I feel like what I'm keeping myself from advancing and other things I want to do. I'm not a spring chicken anymore. I know how women are viewed in the entertainment industry and on television. And I'm also keeping other people who want this spot away from it, who might love and appreciate it more. Wow. So even when I left the bump, I did that for a couple of reasons. One, I moved to LA and they wanted me to stay on. They put a studio in my apartment to keep me on.
Oh, wow.
But there was another girl, Megan Morant, who came into WWE. I saw so much potential and promise in her. I started helping train her, having her come into the bump to like help co-host. And I was like, this needs to be your show. You've done the work. You love it. And I felt like if I stayed in that show, I'm doing a disservice to her and to the whole department by not letting, because you know how WWE is. There's not a lot of turnover in certain positions. They would let me be there until I'm 55 probably. But then that's not doing a favor for anybody. So I think just taking a step back and thinking, okay, I want to move on and do bigger things in my life. And I want other people to do the same thing. And this right here that I'm in is probably their bigger thing, you know?
But I think that does help you. The fact that you came from another place, because I watched your interview with Chris Van Vliet, and you make it very clear. Like it was, you had to be convinced to even audition for the WWE stuff. But once you did, you said you really enjoyed your time there and got to know a lot of people. As you said earlier, the people who are succeeding now are people you grew up with in NXT or came into the business with in NXT. Talk to me about some of the people that you're seeing now succeed. How happy are you for certain wrestlers? Can you name some of them? And were there any experiences that got you to be like connected with them very strongly?
It's actually like wild. Like, I mean, two of the forefront of the women's division right now, Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan, like, gosh, like we were in the Performance Center every single day, then going to the live events around Florida, helping set up the ring, just getting to know them. I mean, I get goosebumps just thinking about like where like I saw them start, like little Demi with her long blonde hair, just like this sweet little girl. Now she's Rhea Ripley, you know, this badass. And of course, Liv Morgan just doing what she's doing. I love her. She and I have a very similar story, upbringing. And she doesn't take any shit from anybody. I love her. Bianca Belair. So she and I have a funny story because we came in around the same time. When I came and auditioned for WWE, they had me go to Full Sail to NXT taping and just to watch. So I was sitting on this bench by myself and I saw this beautiful girl that was like sitting a few seats down, and I scooted down next to her and we started talking. And it was Bianca, and she was telling me she was brand new. She didn't know much about this world. At the time, she worked at a scent factory, like in Atlanta, like a scent factory.
Wow.
And we just sat there and just like bonded over just being new. And we talk about it now, fast forwarding 8 years, how we both got to the top of our game here in WWE. But yeah, so it's just so special, you know?
Yeah.
I think I gained such a big appreciation, especially for those women, because they worked for this and they freaking deserve it. I think Triple H has a big, you know, I give Triple H a lot of credit for that.
Oh yeah.
Because in the Vince era, unfortunately, you had your top players and they stayed there and no one else was able to take those spots. And now Triple H is like, Mr. NXT, let's get these people in the rotation. People are going to love them. And I think he's done a great job.
Yeah, we talk about it on the show. How the hell did DX get into a position to help
That's hilarious, isn't it?
Crazy.
Like this could be a whole movie in itself.
The rebels
Shawn
are running the asylum. Yeah.
Shawn Michaels can even type on a computer without looking at the keys. How did this happen? How did this happen? I don't know.
It's so great.
Shawn is twerking, for God's sakes. Chris, what do
I
you got?
know. Who would have thought?
I would have thought. I was gonna go back to you saying how you didn't come from this world, and so you didn't kind of like have the connection like a lot of other people did, so that like sort of helped catapult your decision making in the future. I did always notice that kind of shift in energy from being around a lot of the wrestlers that I know, as opposed to you. Like, you don't speak with like the terms, you know what I mean? Oh, put me over, or these kind of things.
I try not to.
Yeah, they use in regular speech all the time. It's pretty hilarious. And then I also took note of how you were saying that, you were offered a lot of things that, you said no to, and really kind of stay in your lane as far as performing was concerned. Were you ever pitched any storylines to say, hey, we want to kind of make you involved in this feud, or, things like that? Is there anything like that ever happened?
Besides the Paul Heyman stuff, not really. And after that started, I found, if you notice, I'm the only backstage interviewer who really ever was in a bloodline involved interview, unless it was on Raw and I wasn't there. And they really just aimed to just keep that my thing. Me and Bailey joked about it, because she and I, and me and Thea too, because me and Thea online, Zelina Vega and I have a long feud on the internet. People actually think we hate each other. We even we'll do things. We'll go up to new people in the locker room and just start this really annoying, bad cat fight to see how uncomfortable we can make someone. So I did pitch something with me and Zelina late last year around WrestleMania. Wow. But yeah, of course it didn't happen. But who knows? Who knows about the future?
Wow.
They said the door is always open for me, so maybe I'll come in as a surprise entrant for the Royal Rumble one year and just pow.
Would be the pop would be through the roof. Okay, Aaron, what do you got?
I can't let you go, and our listeners will not allow me to go if I don't mention one thing, because we talked about the Paul Heyman stuff and it was all great, but I want to talk about the things you did with a couple ladies that are currently not in the business, but like you said, there was all.
Are you going to talk about the Aussies?
I got to talk about Billie Kay, Peyton Royce, Jess McKay, Cassie Lee, the Hey Kayla.
My heart.
Because it started in NXT. This is not I don't know if people know that. That's a long story. Where did that start? What do you think of them? How did that go?
I will say, this could be whatever opinion. I think one of the biggest mistakes out of our releases, since I've been in WWE, were those two. They are not only talented, they are two of the funniest people I have ever. They are just funny, and I feel like they weren't allowed to shine the way that they should have been able to shine in front of a WWE audience. Like people didn't see anything, nothing. Like them in the locker room, them backstage. I don't know where Hey Kayla came. I don't even think it was something that we did on TV initially. I think we were just at the PC, and I think Billie Kay just always did that. Hey Kayla, for no reason. And I think she ended up getting into maybe a promo digitally, and then it just kind of grew from there, and fans love. I'm still getting fans tweeting me every day, Hey Kay, doing the thing.
Oh, I got the sound drop.
But
Hey Kayla! Hey Kayla!
I love you, Billie Kay. We'll have to cut this and send this to her. But no, those two girls are phenomenal. Now they're mothers. I know they're absolutely loving this phase of their life. But those are two of the most talented women I've met in this business.
Well, I mean, speaking of talented, let's move on to post WWE here. You've got a movie coming out very soon, Stranglehold here, that as I mentioned earlier, stars Justin Long, Ashley Benson, the great and deep voiced Ron Perlman. So talk to us about what this experience is like for you, being on the set, acting. I mean, you've done semblance of acting when you're doing some of these vignettes backstage. So what was it like here to step in and actually do this? And what's the experience been like for you?
It was very different. I have been taking acting classes and doing auditions and wondering if I wanted to dabble into that world. And then this opportunity was brought up to me by Clark Duke, who is a friend of mine. He's also the director, and Jordan Yale of Yale Productions. And at first they're just it's going to be a really small part, but we would love to see you in this experience. And they ended up giving me quite a bit of stuff to do. It was so much fun, but a very different world than being backstage in WWE. intimidating, because I've never been an actor, and people are like, "Oh, so how many how many movies have you done?" I'm like, I don't know, like, like I was like the only like green one there on set, but it was really cool. And something like obviously Ron Perlman, like we were sitting next to each other the entire days that I was there. I'm trying not to freak out, but go back to like my horror fascination. One of the first horror movies that I fell in love with was Jeepers Creepers, and then since then with Drag Me to Hell, Barbarian, all the Justin Long stuff. Justin Long has been at the top of my list. And funny enough, when I was younger, I said, if I'm ever in a movie, I hope I get to do a movie with Justin Long. And the fact that my very first movie I've ever done was Justin Long, and not just in a movie with him, our scenes were together. Like I'm getting like goosebumps. It was just so special. And it definitely kind of like made me want to do more of this kind of thing. So
yeah, so that's what I guess I want to ask you a follow-up. Is this now what and we've seen Cena really be massive, Batista. I've said this over and over again. Batista, I think, is going to win an Oscar before it's all over.
Oh, he's so talented. My God.
We see The Rock really coming on now. He is a damn icon. But more and more, the door's opening. Becky has done some stuff. Seth, what are your goals, plans? Are you just kind of flowing with it right now and seeing what opens up for you?
Yeah, I'm calling this my spaghetti against the wall phase. Like I finally have time and the ability and the freedom to just see what it is that like I love and because I've only focused on WWE for all this time because it's all I could. It's all I was allowed to with like my time and my freedom. And I just got so monotonous, and I realized my creative was gone. Like it was really depressing to sit down and realize, I don't have any of my own creative thoughts anymore. And I used to be such a creator. And so the last couple of months that I've been gone, I've been like typing away on like, concepts. And I've made pitch decks. I've gone to TV studios to like give them these decks of shows I produced. And again, doing the auditions, and I'm still doing hosting gigs. And right now I'm waiting to hear back from this like really cool competition show that I could potentially be hosting. And so yeah, I just want to do it all and see what sticks. And just be creative and just be happy.
Chris or Aaron, do you guys have anything more here? I know we only got limited time with Kayla, but I want to make sure you guys get your questions in. Anything else?
Just one. We got to do like some questions about like your favorite stuff. You know what I mean? Like if you're so now on this new journey of acting and performing outside of WWE, like what's the one horror franchise?
Ooh.
If you could get a role in, what would it be?
Scream.
Okay.
Like
it's the right time. They're rebooting it. This is the time to jump in.
Know. And Dave Arquette was in the movie I did as well, and so just hanging out with old Dewey, was pretty great. But yeah, I think Scream would be. Yeah,
I'm going to clip this out and put this all over the internet because you got to get on that Scream. There's no reason you shouldn't be on Scream. Aaron, what do you got?
Perfect fit for Scream. So you said Scream, so obviously you're a Wes Craven fan. Do you like that kind of meta style of horror, like the hey, we're self-aware, we know what we're talking about here, or are you more into the cerebral stuff, or does it not matter? Just whatever you got.
It doesn't really matter. It's all about the mood. Like I love so A24 has been putting out some amazing stuff lately, which I think obviously is more of that like thought-provoking. Like I went and saw Long Legs recently, if that's considered horror. Have you seen it? Okay.
I've seen it.
I have the Talk to Me Embalmed Hand on my shelf back
great
there.
Great film.
That film messed me up for days.
Yeah. So good. And I love to feature and stuff like that as well. Like, I mean, if I could do like a role like that just really like deep and thought provoking and makes people go to bed at night, like just feeling, like Chris. But no, but I love it all.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, you started out doing your own stuff, back in Florida. You were responsible. When you talk about your creative mind kind of taking a little bit of a break during the WWE time, and now you're so inspired, is a YouTube channel a possibility for you? Is opening up the door? And excuse me if I don't know if you've already started one, but like, is that a possibility for you? Because I mean, that's where creators are living and breathing now. And the TikTok, there's so much you can do now. So do you see is that an avenue that you might be exploring as well more and more in the future?
Yeah, I'm actually working on some stuff right now. I just really want to yeah, like I if I'm gonna put anything out, I want to make sure it's extremely thought out. I don't want to just like get on YouTube like, hey guys, it's Kayla. What are we gonna talk about? And just like use the fact that I have a following to get people to watch. There's so many creators out there. I don't want to just continue doing the same thing. I really want to find something that just is different. So yeah, I've been working on something, potentially a podcast. I don't know exactly the format that I'm gonna go for, but no, absolutely.
Right. You and Paul Heyman just talking about horror films. Is that what you said?
Oh, look, the boyfriend's back. He's not dead. Theon, you can
Hey!
it's okay. They were wondering if you were on my wall yet.
That
And
could
this
be
is
AI.
Layla.
That could be
Say,
AI.
say
We
hi,
don't know.
Layla. Okay, she's
Oh,
but yeah.
we'll get you out of here on this. I mean, you've accomplished so much in your life, and as I said earlier, overcoming a lot of stuff. And you say you've had your dark days. Is there a message you would like to send, maybe out to young reporters coming up, especially young female reporters coming up or trying to get into business and what have you, or even people now who might be stuck a little bit trying to figure out what they're going to do next in their lives? Is there a message you'd like to end with to like have some inspiration, so to speak?
I think if it's something that I've been learning lately, is just, recognize where you are in your life and if you're supposed to be there. And, use whatever part of your journey to grow and to prepare yourself for the next phase. But don't get down on yourself when maybe you aren't advancing in a place you were never supposed to really advance in the first place. So be okay with moving on, and just make sure that you're moving on a better person than before.
Wow. Those are wise words for sure. Well, Kayla, thank you very much on behalf of all three of us here on the Ring Generals. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you,
We
guys.
love you madly, even more so after this interview. So we are championing you from the sidelines. I'm sure we're not the only ones as well who are looking forward to seeing what you're going to do next. So we'll keep tabs on it, and good luck with the rest of your career. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
All right, that was Kayla Braxton, aka Kayla Becker. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what a fantastic interview with her and hanging out with her. Gentlemen, what are your thoughts here after having these conversations with her? What are your feelings about what she's done and where she's going?
I mean, I'm just tickled by it all. You know what I mean? Like, not for nothing. She and I have talked about a lot of this stuff, beforehand, and when she was thinking about leaving WWE. Yeah, I mean, you should have seen my face and clutching my heart when she told me that was a thing she was thinking about. But dude, as you can see, she's just so warm and, just put together and just professional and just great at what she does, and so many different interests, and the sky's the limit for her. I'm just so happy for her, honestly.
Yeah. Aaron, what are your thoughts coming away from this interview?
The personality, man. Everything she does is just bright. And I think that people will learn a lot from her, story, learn a lot from what she's talking about. And that's always a good thing. She's going to bring people up as she goes along. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, I didn't know too much about her backstory until I started doing the review or preparing for the interview here. And I had no idea of all the stuff that she's gone through and overcome. And certainly I wanted to get more. We only had a limited amount of time, but I would have liked to have gotten into more of the social media stuff and how how all that affected her, especially after coronavirus and all the stuff that went after. But like, she's this kind of person that speaks from the hip, speaks from the heart, and you can sense that and feel that. And I think this is going to be someone that we're going to be seeing in our lives for quite some time in numerous iterations, because she just has this very positive energy and an openness, especially now, she said, her spaghetti against the wall phase, an openness to go into numerous different directions and find what makes her happy. And so clearly we got the best of her in a situation in WWE. We got to see what she could do. Certainly people saw ahead of time what she could do, which is what got her to the WWE. So now we got this post WWE life that we're going to be excited to see if the podcast pops off, if she gets into more work as an actress, where that leads. So, and I love that she's given the proper respect to the art of crafting by taking acting classes, by listening to acting teachers and that's so important to show respect. And that speaks volumes about her character. So I'm very honored she took the time to hang out with us, and I'm even more impressed with her as a person and even more excited to see what she's going to do in the future for sure. All right, well, there you go. Sorry, guys, I got to clear my throat here. Thanks so much for joining us on this special interview episode for the Ring Generals. Of course, you can follow Kayla Braxton on all her stuff there, and make sure you keep tabs on her. And make sure you share this interview, share clips of the interview, what stood out to you. Let us know what you thought about it all down in the comments section below. Subscribe to the channel as well. And, of course, subscribe to these two gentlemen there. Chris, where can they find you and what you got going on, brother man?
Chris_please on all things social media to see what I'm up to. We got the Late AF Productions YouTube page. That's all things that come out of my brain go up on that page. The Nan Cast, which is the flagship show, the Before the Bell wrestling podcast, the Girls Want to Know, starring Fatima Talia. 2 more shows on the way. So
nice.
Channel's growing, y'all. Go check us out.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Of course, Chris, thank you so much for bringing Kayla onto the show for us. We appreciate that as well. Aaron, where can they find you? What you got going on, brother man?
You can find me on Twitter at only Aaron Turner. I don't really tweet from there. I generally tweet from the Ring Generals account, which is at Ring Generals Pod. Thank you very much. And when I'm not leading Kent State to another national championship, I'm just kind of hanging around.
Okay, there you go. That's the college football, which I bought yesterday, Aaron. So me and you might be going at it on one of those things. So as for me, you can follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, the Outlaw Nation on Twitch. And as I said, please remember to subscribe down below and hit that bell button. Look for all the stuff coming from us here at the Ring Generals. And we'll talk to you next time with another brand new episode of the Ring Generals. Take care until then.